at the end of the night, I always say, if nobody told you that they love you today, I love you. And I mean it. There were chapters where I was an athlete. There was a chapter where I was a designer, an entrepreneur, and now a social scientist disguised as a DJ. You know?
I like that.
She leans over and she's like, you really trying to talk to me in the club? And I'm like, I guess so.
Yeah.
I asked myself, why is everyone here then? Because everyone's here. I'm here to find my friends. But why are y'all here?
In the process of creating these spaces for people to actually feel really comfortable, what are some of the challenges that you've come across?
Safety is such a big part of the equation. How do we make a trend actually healthy? The goal is to see the next generation and the next generation and the next generation be very intentional with spaces, with social health. You can find me, I guess, on the gram, Uri Hall, EARRYHALL.
It's Uri.
Yep.
Stop calling him Erie. Stop
Uri.
calling him all these other It's Uri. Pay attention.
Uri. We need each other. You know,
there's things like, we need each other to kind of be gauges. To educate, be gauges for each other.
Yeah.
I know I'm extreme, so the only people that have been able to calm me down are not men. It's women.
Yeah, bro.
So it's like,
man. I mean, we all came from a woman, man. It's Mother Earth, not Father Earth. You know.
Or, that's our whiz.
It's amazing.
That's the wisdom. All right. Welcome to Profits in Process. I'm your host, Ryan Grant. And today's episode, every single episode, whether it's somebody I know or not, we end up finding out how close we actually are before the conversation even starts. So, which makes it easier for me. So, this young man is building community in more ways than one, but for the most part, I think he uses gatherings of the party nature to connect individuals that might be strangers in other times and space. But I believe I read something that said that you want, by the end of the night, strangers to feel like they were family.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing to want to create a space for individuals to laugh, love, dance, potentially cry, all the stuff,
yes.
But feel safe enough to be able to do that. And he's a DJ, producer, clearly a curator, and it's Uri Hall. Did that do justice? I try to, all right, okay.
Round of applause, everyone.
I try to, within that intro, I always give my guests, I then ask them a question that allows them to kind of speak to that. So, Uri, what do you do?
Well, first of all, thank you for that lovely introduction, my brother.
Yeah.
It's the idea of what I'm doing is really based in the mental and physical health benefits of community and friendship. And, me coming to this realization through going through my own social hurdles and learning the importance of tribe. I ended up moving to LA from New York about 9 years ago. No community at all. And quickly understanding just that stark juxtaposition between just New York and LA socially.
It's very different.
You can meet somebody on the subway and go to lunch with them immediately. Where in
the social settings in LA are a little different.
Absolutely.
Dynamically, absolutely.
It's even the way that the city's designed. We're in our we're in our cars a lot of times and in our homes a lot of the times, a lot more than a New Yorker. And so it's an active process building your community and building your tribe. And it can be a stark reality, trying to build that in a city that's not necessarily designed for that specifically. But I think a lot of cities are like that. New York is a very specific and special place. Yeah. There's probably nowhere in the world like New York. Understanding that and then wanting to figure out how to solve a problem in a new way, in a fun way, and realizing that was destined to be my calling in a way.
When you say solve a problem, what was the problem?
So when I moved here, I moved here.
Excuse me, I'm prefacing that because I want to know, and I want the audience to know whether or not, was this something that you always wanted to do?
No. This was something that I never had any interest in. You know, it's interesting.
So it's a calling.
Absolutely. Well, I think too, we evolve consistently through time. We become different people. The trajectory of life transforms us into different people, and I think that creates different callings for each version of ourselves. And so, there were chapters where I was an athlete.
Right.
There was a chapter where I was a designer, an entrepreneur, and now a social scientist disguised as a DJ.
I like that. What better way to create experiments by using music and using people?
Oh man, bro. I mean, the science part of it is so interesting too. It's thinking about what the brain does when we sing together.
Yeah.
What chemicals in the body we generate and activate when we dance together. These things add to our quality of life and our lifespan.
Absolutely.
Dancing strengthens our bone density, fights cancer. Singing together exercises our lungs in a way that oxygenates our bloodstream and makes it, a healthier environment to fight disease.
Fact.
Our brains and our bodies create this chemical actually when we sing together called immunoglobulin, which amplifies our immune system, bro. And that's a key that our community unlocks,
Community is therapeutic. And I think that the root of all of this, and this is why we can find common ground, is why we do these certain things, to create spaces for people to be able to feel that, because you know what it has done for you. I know what it has done for me. And I think there's right now a space where so many of us are really focusing on health in whichever manner we can, whether it's related to personal, you had said that. I think that because personally you were kind of trying to find your space and everything, you almost created what was needed because you were in the void, not from top down.
Yeah.
Within the void, you were like, you know what?
Yeah.
This is what I need, so I'm going to create it. And essentially, there are other people that need this as well.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing. What's that story? If you can't find a book that you want to write, that you want to read, write it.
Yeah. Yes, bro. Yeah.
So, no, but I think it's really important in reference to, like, right now, so many people are focusing and realizing the capacity for community in regards to health and how valuable, and it's not just valuable, but necessary.
Oh my goodness, it's a necessity, bro. It's and to what you're saying, being in the void, turning your pain into purpose, realizing that you can use the stuff that you're going through if you zoom out and say, now what's actually happening here? Let let me look at the opportunities that I can create from this experience. You know, a lot of the times we do go through things that isn't just unique to us. Someone else is going through it. And that was really my process and my goal and what I was experiencing. You know, when I moved to LA, I, you know, from New York, where I couldn't walk down the street without knowing somebody. And then you come to LA, and at the time I had 2 jobs at the same time. And they were my dream jobs. Yeah. One was at Nike, and I was consulting for Beats by Dre at the time, and as a designer for both. And so I didn't have a lot of time to build my community. And Nike was a very stressful environment for me at that time. And so, you know, I would come home, bringing work home, not really going out to find my tribe or my community. And looking up one day, and I was depressed. And for the first time, actually, was experiencing a mild depression. And, you know, researching and just, you know, now in hindsight, I understand what it was. You know? But started to research, and I came across this TED Talk that talked about the people that lived the longest on the planet and how it's attached to who's in their lives.
Who they're with.
And man, and then I would go out. I was like, okay, I need to activate that part of my life and be very intentional about it, because it kind of found me in New York, where I had to work for it in LA. You got to work for it in LA. And in other cities as well. When I was in Alabama, you know,
New York's the anomaly, very much so.
Absolutely, bro. And then, you know, I would go out to certain spaces. At the time, it was One Oak, you know, the bottle service, you know, bottle war, you know, type of spaces where it felt very socially segregated. Yeah. And people were really confined to their sections and their, you know, booths. And I would look around, and no one was dancing with each other, really. People were like, just people watching each other and bopping, you know, but
not real interaction.
No,
right?
No. I think the goal, and I realized the goal wasn't for people. Well, I asked myself, why is everyone here then? Yeah. Because everyone's here. Yeah. I'm here to find my friends. Yeah. But why are y'all here, right? And I remember having a conversation with this woman, man, and she was cute, and I was like, you know, just striking up a conversation. And I asked her, if your life was a movie, what song would be in the opening credits, right? Just like a question that I just thought of, and I thought was like this profound display of this creative and thoughtful guy asking a thoughtful question, right? And she leans over to me and she's like, "You really trying to talk to me in the club?" Right? And I'm like, I guess so.
Yeah.
But why not? Where are we supposed to talk to each other, right? And that moment was like, wow, there's so much potential here that we aren't accessing. So I started a case study called See You Soon.
Okay.
And I started to research all the things that weren't happening in spaces like that, because that was predominantly the social spaces for LA at the time. And this is like 2014. And you know, what are they not doing? No one's dancing. What are the health benefits of dancing? No one's really singing songs together. What are the health benefits of singing songs together? No one's really congregating. You know, what happens when we hug each other? What happens when a room is bathed in certain types of light? What happens when we communicate in this type of way? What happens when the entry into a space feels comfortable and not jarring? Like, who are you? You know, at that time too, you know, I'm the son of a brilliant Black woman. You know, man,
props.
you know, brilliant. My mom Deborah Ann, wow, like I'm so lucky I get to be her son, you know? And but being the son of a brilliant, beautiful Black woman, I would empathize in a way to their experiences, especially in those environments. You know, in LA, a more Eurocentric beauty standard, you know, beautiful Black women would feel unwelcome. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait, what? She is so fine. What are you talking about? What's happening here? You know? And then in New York, you know, it's different.
It's different, yeah.
It was different even back then. You know, you go out to New York, everyone's dancing, vibing. And so I created a case study. At the time, I'm still designing. One of my friends, Luis Cano, who, you know, brilliant guy in fashion and art. He had a fashion PR company, and he helped me curate a list for the first test. And as a designer, I was like, man, color theory. Okay, how do people feel when a room is bathed in this type of light? Does it make them feel more comfortable? And we were just testing all types of things. And
I love this. I love that you're taking your background and interest in other spaces and applying it to, because that to me is literally finding value in your process and taking what you've learned from your other process and applying it to the, you know, and combining it all. That's what makes you you. It's brilliant. I think it speaks to how to become holistically healthy.
Absolutely, bro. And to, you know, that's what makes it yours.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Exactly. It's unique and it makes it expressive. True.
And true to you. You know, in athletics, right? The way that you might find a hole, you know, it's a void.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, what do you do with that hole? What do you do with that void? How do you create? There's so much you can do. You can just run straight through it, or you could
have your own little,
you know, jab step and then go straight. You know, do I want to make a highlight reel, or do I just want to get to the end zone? You know, and however we choose to do that, because it becomes our thing. You know, even in the space that you're creating now, man, the way that you're filling this void is unique to you. It has to be.
I appreciate that. It's.
Proud of you, bro.
I'm trying to
proud of you and your team.
Be proud of my team.
Amazing. Amazing.
I just talk. I listen. That's easy for me. But no, I think that it's true in relation to trying to express yourself in a manner in which is beneficial. And I think that's what speaks to the two of us in relation to what we're trying to create through our expressions. You know, sometimes there can be expressions where they're just attention-based. Sometimes there can be expressions where they're just needed-based. These are around trying to create spaces for health through expression, combining all of our resources and all of the wisdom that we have in a particular space around what people need. You know, we spoke off camera around, you know, this conversation. I've told my team that the one thing in this conversation is it has to be a safe space, a space where people feel comfortable to be honest, because that's where the connection is. And in the same way, it's like when you look at your venues, you're creating intimate spaces for people to
absolute, bro,
and be honest within how they want to dance, feel, express, share with each other, connect with each other. So yeah, we're doing the same thing.
Oh man, bro, literally, you know, there's as human beings, we're social animals. And so biochemically, we're designed to engage with each other. Something very specific happens when we don't.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, when we do feel lonely. And I mean, even especially, you know, us getting through a pandemic together, right? As a human race, you know, for years we were told during this pandemic, that we can't engage and interact. And so what we've seen happen is, or what we see happening is, people were told not to engage, not to interact physically. We all went to our phones to find our community. for an extended amount of time. And then we got out of the pandemic and we're still stuck to our phones. Where a lot of people are uncomfortable being social or less comfortable being social now. It's a condition called post-pandemic traumatic disorder, which a lot of people are going through without even understanding it. That was a traumatic experience, bro.
I actually thought that was the real quote unquote like pandemic in relation to the emotional impact it was going to have on people, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, because understanding people need to feel connected. People need to feel like they have a quote unquote purpose aligned with what they're doing. And even if it's a job, something that is giving them routine to do every day. So I knew that now there's going to be something. I was like, there has to be, people need to feel like they can have conversation with others just so that they're not alone in what they're feeling. Because to feel isolated and to feel alone, that is the root cause of depression, anxiety, all these different things. So I totally agree that it changed our landscape. It changed the way we do everything, clearly, from business to interaction. It changed our comfortabilities with certain things. We've become more comfortable with things that are not in person because of that. You know, we've become more comfortable with interactions that are, we can connect with more, but in my opinion, connect with less of an you know, it's like, how do I articulate that?
No, I mean,
we can connect more from a quantity aspect, but the capacity for connection is a little different.
Well, the quality aspect too.
Yeah,
right?
Oh, absolutely. That's more, quality more than, absolutely.
You know, it feels very different. You know, say a guy likes a girl or a girl likes a guy or whoever likes each other, right? And you look at that experience through a dating app. Versus the experience of meeting this person and seeing each other smile. What are all the social cues that
pheromone, tone, cadence, everything.
There's so much that we're missing that we're not experiencing.
Energetically that you would use as maybe that your receptors would use.
Yes.
In understanding your space and understanding who you want to put yourself around. You know, how many times have you been in a room and immediately you might say, "Oh, nah, this ain't my space," or immediately you realize, "Oh, this is my space," because energetically you can just pick up on the room.
Absolutely, bro.
So there's definitely there's a difference in that.
Even bro, being on a you know, seeing a beautiful, I mean, I know I've experienced this. Seeing a beautiful, aesthetically attractive, an aesthetically attractive woman. I do think that being attractive and being beautiful are two different things.
Yeah.
But being this attractive woman and you talk to her, and you're like, oh no, this isn't the connection that I was hoping for. Great to meet you though. You know, beautiful meeting you. How do you do that digitally? And you know, it's an energetic thing. Energy's so honest. Energy is honesty.
Absolutely.
So, and you can't really experience it, at least not to the quantity in comparison, physically versus digitally. And you know, that's where I think my work is really important. And this idea of bringing people into reality, you know, and into a space that's really engineered for us to experience community, joy, each other, energy, music, you know, all these things that we're designed to experience, and that really enhances our quality of life, man. You know, it's a big void to fill, especially in this time, but it's such a beautiful void to fill, bro. You know, I've you know, there are times now in LA where I'll go out somewhere. Recently, actually, I went to one of my favorite restaurants Alta West Adams. If you haven't been, it's amazing place. And I'm sitting down, I'm eating alone. There's a group of people eating together. And I'm sitting there and, you know, I see some of them, you know how you can feel people looking at you, you know? One of the guys gets up and he's like, hey, man, I just want to let you know that we took care of your bill. I was like, why? Why? You don't have to do that, man.
Yeah.
You know? He's like, you know, we're all sitting here, you know, just having, you know, a meal together, and we realized that you're the reason we know each other.
Oh, shit.
We met at a See You Soon.
That's
right?
love. Yeah.
A few years ago.
Word.
Right? And in that moment, and we took photos together, you know? In that moment, I was like, yo, it's not a party, bro. It's a family. It's a community, you know? I mean, that's one of the taglines, actually, is this ain't a party, it's a family. And but to experience it, understanding that we can't choose our relatives, you know, but we do choose our family.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, in a city that isn't necessarily engineered like in New York.
It's not engineered for that necessarily.
You know, and especially for people of color, you know, Black, brown people. You know, there is kind of, I mean, there's definitely a need for community in a very unique way.
I think even more than maybe other cities, because the nature of the base energy of this space is in a particular, because of the industry. It's in a particular way. And with that, there's a density and there's a magnitude that energy has that you can't deny.
Right.
And it's the energy of acting.
Right. Yeah.
And people act and people create characters. So there's a lot of characters here that people are trying to figure out who they are, or trying to play a particular role for what they might think, because that's the energy of the space. So it's easy to see that people can get caught in that. It's easy to see that people can allow that to kind of take control over them. So they're not grounded. With that, what are some of the challenges in the terrain of creating spaces? In the process of creating these spaces for people to actually feel really comfortable, what are some of the challenges that you've come across?
You know, there's a safety is such a big part of the equation, and feeling physically safe, but also socially safe as well. Socially healthy, you know. There's what I've realized is, so we've never had any altercations, any physical altercations at a See You Soon thing. It's thousands of people of color in these spaces where we usually hit capacity, and there's a self-policing thing that happens. What I realize is, even beyond the physical self-policing, there's a social self-policing as well. I have a series of guidelines.
Ideally, what you want. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's what you want.
Yes.
Accountability within the community.
Absolutely. Well, there's this list of guidelines that I have that goes out with all the invites, and it's kind of a vibe check. You know, one of them is, don't invite anybody out with you. Don't bring anybody into the space that you wouldn't invite into your home. And that just creates this like, oh wow, yo, there's
a responsibility.
Yes. And an accountability to the space, yo. And if everybody brings their favorite people or people they trust into the space and they meet each other.
Yes, that's family. Because if everybody feels like a space is home, respect your home.
Yes. And, you know, this is also like respect your home, respect each other.
Yeah.
You know, for one of the big goals is making sure that women feel safe in the space, and
because they'll make it home.
yes, yeah, bro.
If you create listen, you know what you're doing. You create a space that women feel comfortable, they'll set the vibe.
Any space.
I don't care. I know what Uri's doing, but Uri's not setting the vibe. The women are setting the vibe in the space.
Oh, absolutely, bro. I mean, let's not get it twisted, bro. We do everything because of women.
What I say, I said that on the last. I said, men do everything for women.
Everything, bro. Even subconsciously.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's nature, too. We can look at, nature is gonna supersede whatever we think. No matter how big a person's ego is. Nature is telling you something is going to supersede that. So, for, a woman feeling safe, because it creates a vibe for sure, but also just, man, it's unfortunate that women don't feel safe.
They don't have those.
A lot of times in spaces, bro. And it's because it's not a priority, it's not a high priority. And, women are the guests of honor at our spaces. So
that's a wonderful way of saying it.
Oh, absolutely.
It's spot on.
Have to be, bro. So I mean, there are things from if a woman feels uncomfortable, let us know, because we'll have whoever escort it out without any, gently and respectfully, which has happened, and understanding that that's just a priority and part of what makes the space really special. Yeah, bro. But safety, also communicating in the guidelines, bro. Giving people the understanding of what this actually is. If they read through it, they know who to invite. They know who not to invite. It's also why we don't buy a lot of advertising or anything like that. It's all word of mouth. We're like 80,000 emails right now, just through people telling each other, which is also beautiful because if everyone's empowered with this responsibility to invite the people that they love and trust, then the spaces are always going to feel special and
just reinforces.
Yes, bro. Yes. But yeah, bro. You know what? I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Can you think of a group of friends that you met socially that you're still friends with?
Socially,
like we outside.
That I'm still. Mm-hmm. Yeah, through my brother though. Because of if anybody who knows my brother was about as social as it gets. Most of my
powerful
social
presence too.
Yes, that's why. One of the most. I think that in our dynamic, he was more social than I was, but he created in me knowing him more than anybody. There was a comfort that I had within. For instance, we were two different guys in this aspect. He would go everywhere socially and want to be a part of everything socially and then come back and complain. Oh man, about that. And I'm like, yo, why you going then? Like, why you? He was like, nah, well, I want to. And I'm like, well, then stop complaining, because you're putting yourself in particular spaces to experience it, whatever it may be. A lot of times I'd be like, I'm not going because I already know that specific to the whatever energy. I think that within that, for me, most of my social relationships are time and space. I have to spend time with you. And space with you. And our interactions can't just be socially. Because I think my brain at that point, maybe not so much now, definitely not so much now, but it used to be around, I would frame things very linear. So if I hung out with you in a party and it was socially, it's like, okay, that's where our friendship lies. Until I experience you with maybe some sort of trust, maybe, something else, that's where it would be. So now it's a very different space because now I look at my network and my family of individuals as very much, and a lot of it is from social. You know, we talk about my producer, Nelly. Shouts to Nelly.
Yeah.
My relationship with her is through business. That was really through community though. Because it wasn't like we did good business. But it was what was created was really a community that she is actually so passionate about.
Yeah.
And that's what kept us connected with her passion for this, her passion for really, honestly, honoring what we did with AP Cafe in Brooklyn and appreciating it, and then taking it and making it into her vision in many aspects and doing really phenomenal things, but still really acknowledging what we did and being proud of it. That made us like, wow, we really appreciate your ability to take this and continue that. So there was that social network that she created, and she became family through that. I feel like more now, I think more now are the space around, especially with this, creating this, having to put myself in spaces socially that I wouldn't necessarily want to. I've created more of where somebody I can recognize, oh man, we're the same.
Yeah.
You know, or I see there are aspects that resonate, or, you know, this aspect. Also, a lot of my quote unquote activities for me, things I'm into. I train jujitsu. So
very social.
Yeah, it's social. Which is a beautiful thing in relation to, there's a humility that comes around that social interaction immediately. Yeah. So most of the time when you meet people in that setting, that social setting, it's not braggadocious. You see people skills shine, but it's still a very humble manner because everybody gets smashed.
Yes.
Pause.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Everybody's getting beat the fuck up. Everybody's getting, and so within that, as a man, and even women as well, there's humility in that.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell somebody that's never been punched in the face or that never been quote unquote violated in a way that there's an agreement where, you see, they are stronger than me. They are this or whatever it may be. So within that creates a level of, I think, a community with people where there's a respect immediately, you know? Because if you're willing, and also within of how hard it is. Yeah. You know, I think for me, I've a lot of my spaces with my brotherhoods are around spaces where for me to trust you, I need to know that you can work with me. What can we do together in relation to, like, how are you going to give up easily? Because I was raised in tribe and I was raised in, you know, individuals that I want to know that we have not necessarily the same priorities, but how do our values align? So how are people going to, and I think that usually you find those in individuals that are like-minded within, you know, what you want to do. So
yeah, bro. I mean, that's, no matter where you find the community, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's that experience is a necessity. You know, I think of our parents, you know, my parents, my friends' parents. How did they meet? How did that begin? You know, the stories our parents tell of when they were our age. When I was your age, I used to be, you know? Yeah. You know, my parents, you know, they met out, you know, many of my friends' parents.
So much of, like, I think that's what we know.
There's so many, you know, there's so many people that have met at a See You Soon event that, you know, have gone on to start families and get married.
Oh, that's love,
man. You know, I get people reaching out to me like, man, can you play my wedding? You know, because we want to create the environment that we met in with our family present, right? It's life-altering. Those are life-altering exchanges and experiences. And
do you think that you're creating a nostalgic feeling for people?
I think so, for sure. Well, I think of social media, since it's such a big part of our lives, not even necessarily a part of our lives. I think the scale is like kind of off. Yeah. You know, the amount of time that we commit to our devices. You know, I saw the study that said Now we spend so much time with electronics that we're not now technically androids.
Yeah.
You know, we're technically cyborgs.
Cyborgs, yeah.
I'm sorry. And that's crazy to me.
Yeah. It's definitely a new age to the way we look at human interaction is just very different. And I'm not, I think it would be foolish to say that there's not tremendous value in look what it's done and what it's created for us in regards to access, information, resources across the board. But with anything, there's a balance within that. And do you see it as we're going down a path that you would try, that it's inevitable? So are you trying to mitigate that with, as I said, from the nostalgic aspect, are you trying to essentially keep a culture alive that you see tremendous value in and health in? When I look at why people do things and try to keep things alive in our culture, it's because there's value. It's because somehow we see value in it. We see a space where we want to keep that. We identify with something in relation to how it benefited us. And when you talk about, I just thought about when you're talking about your parents, and I'm like, yeah, all of mine. every single older person in my life, family member, loved one, friend, that I know of, met there either through somebody else going out, was introduced, went out to somebody and somebody else continued to bring them in. So clearly there was value in that interaction. And especially if you see it from a reference point of they're still connected. Are you trying to essentially like keep culture alive? That we see value in within these spaces that I think are necessary for our health.
Bro, I mean, so I saw this study that talked about there's a friendship pandemic, and how college kids are experiencing more loneliness.
Oh, shit.
The most loneliness ever in history for that age group.
Yeah.
And when we think of probably some of the reasons, they were in a pandemic during very formative social years.
Yeah.
They were like alone, in the silo. So they come out of these and out of this pandemic, not knowing how to talk to a girl, how to interact, not knowing how to engage, not knowing how to create a friendship in a physical space. And it makes me imagine, what is the future of that? How does that look? How does
underdeveloped?
Underdeveloped. How do our interpersonal skills look moving forward? How do relationships, romantic relationships, companionship, how does that look moving forward if you don't know how to engage with each other in the physical space?
Yeah.
And so for me, more than it's not about a party.
Yeah.
I think people that might be introverts, that scares them. But even an introvert, it's all balance. What you might need to be balanced socially. We all need alone time. We all need social time. The scale of that it's going to be different for everybody. For an introvert, you still need your people. You still need to be around people. You still might want to dance to some of your favorite songs. You still might want to grab a drink.
Right.
You still might want to talk to somebody in the physical space, because that's natural for a human being, all of us. And, I think that is really what it's about, bro. Trying to keep us human, and not allow us to turn into cyborgs, bro. Fully, if that's the.
Where do you see it going? Where would you like for See You Soon and what you're creating? Because it's not limited to See You Soon. Where would you like for it to take off to?
Yeah, I mean,
what seeds are you planting that essentially you want to grow in other spaces?
Well, See You Soon is just it's Well, See You Soon is meant to be a ripple effect. I'm hoping that social health becomes more of a priority in social spaces. And it's a term that I don't think many people use when they think about what do we need for this experience to be healthy, for people to walk away from this experience not feeling drained or sad or less than.
Because that's the goal, right? The goal is that when they leave a party, you actually don't want them to feel drained.
No.
Being tired is one thing, but feeling drained is a totally different.
Absolutely.
And you want them to feel, no, wow, I actually feel better when I leave this space.
Yes, bro. I mean, there have been times, bro, me, even as a DJ, right? The reason I never wanted to DJ. I was actually like, I wanted to be the guy behind
Got the hands
the scenes.
of God, boy. You just out here moving.
Yeah, I mean, all my friends were incredible, amazing DJs. One of my big brothers and mentors, him and his wife, actually, DJ MOS and Kiss, New York legends.
Wow.
I mean, legends in general, but they are giants to me. And so to me, I'm like, I can't do what they do. And started See You Soon as a case study. I was like, man, I keep booking DJs, but the goal is to make everybody sing together. And I don't think the DJs understand that they're playing more just because a song is popular or popping, but the energy is different.
They're not playing songs that are connecting.
Or that are connecting each other.
Yeah, that are connecting the people together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a key ingredient in what I'm
Which is
doing.
there's a different intention within that. Not every social setting or social party in any capacity, a music venue is trying to do that.
Bro, think of the moments where
They might just trying to keep people there.
yes,
As
we'll keep people
opposed to-
there, spending money.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Think of that feeling that you have when you're driving alone. Your favorite song comes on and you're rapping or singing every line,
Word.
right? It's a joint that, it might be a deep cut, it might be a B-side joint. You're like, yo, you know,
Or if,
love
you
this
know,
song.
everybody, listen, how many times you been to a party where they put on Frankie Beverly Maze?
Yes.
And the moment they turn it down, you, oh.
Yes, yes,
See?
yes,
See?
Yes.
That's it right there.
yes. Well, but that's
Where the whole
so
crowd just in sync hits it.
that moment when you're in the car alone, right? Experiencing that freedom, surrounded by strangers.
Yeah.
We're all singing a song that we know and love together. What happens in our minds, our bodies, the same chemicals that are activated when we're around our family, when we're at a family reunion or Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Yeah.
Our bodies and our brains think that we're with our family in that moment when we're singing, you know, that Frankie Beverly Maze song. If it's that, you know, before I let go, right? And that point where it's like, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
and the music shuts down and you hear everybody just.
Everybody knows exactly when to come in.
In that moment, no matter where
No
you're
matter where
from,
you are, no matter where you're from, what you look like, we family.
we're family.
Right.
That's the whole night. That's 3 hours of that feeling, right? Walking out of that room. Well, first of all, if you're singing your favorite songs with somebody, a stranger, you got something in common with that person immediately. So it makes it a lot easier to say hello. How you doing? Yo, that's fly. How was your day today? This my jam. Can I dance with you? Like all those things that a DJ has a power to create this connectivity through music, which is one of the most, it is the universal language, the most powerful language, I think, on the planet.
You make social connection easier.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. For the person that is an introvert,
Yeah.
It's I think that I'm both. I'm an ambivert. Like I need my time, like just to be like alone.
Nah, I feel you. Yeah.
I love my house, and I made it my sanctuary. There are times I might not talk to somebody for 2 days, right? But then I need to be around my people. I need to feel, especially as a transplant, I'm not from here. I need to feel connected to something beyond just
outside
just
of
the
self.
self.
Yeah, outside of self.
And creating that experience in a fun ass way is filling a void in a beautiful way, our way. We need that, So to answer your question, trying to keep it alive, absolutely, bro. Our parents, the way that they danced when they went out, we still listen to a lot of the songs that our parents that we were made to.
Yeah, absolutely.
That frankly,
because that type of music is not being made in that manner. Something about that time where it was, they were making music specifically for that purpose.
Bro, even the lyrics, Before I Let Go, I mean,
they were writing songs that actually were built for those type of things to connect in. Yeah.
Yes, bro. So
I don't want to say it was a better time. It was just a different time, but
it was a different time, and better and worse in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But at least the music part and the intention behind the art that was being made at that time, fueled by so much of what was happening socially, culturally, and civil rights, the 60s and 70s. They needed to dance together. They needed community. They needed a place to go to see joy, to experience joy. All these things that happen in our bodies when we see someone that looks like us smiling, or somebody that doesn't look like us smiling at us,
It's magic. Like, listen, our
Absolutely.
culture, you understand, cultures of color.
Oh, man.
You know how important movement, you know how important social interaction, you know how important dance is in these spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever word you want to call it, powwow, party, gathering, shindig, whatever you want, whatever it is, it's imperative for our mental health. It's imperative for our spirit, imperative for our soul. It's magic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it actually becomes a catalyst in relation to helping us remember our magic.
Absolutely, bro. I mean, even thinking of the idea of what we need versus what we want.
Yeah.
I like to think of what we're doing as giving people what they need wrapped in what they want.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun, it's lit.
That's good curation, though.
Absolutely.
When you can give somebody what they need while thinking it's what they want.
Absolutely.
They don't even know they want it.
Yes, bro.
They don't even know they need it.
Yes.
I mean, that's good. That means you're doing a good job.
Well, up until now, I disguised it as such, right? So,
he's putting you on the game now. He's giving you his game as.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, this moment even is very much about the experience of collecting all this data, collecting all these experiences, and sharing the benefits of this. It was a party disguised. Well, it's a mental and physical health initiative disguised as a party.
There we
right?
go. I like that.
All these things that are happening are helping us with grieving, are helping us with depression. I remember there's this one night I used to do this thing called Thank God It's Monday, in an attempt to rebrand Monday.
Monday, yeah.
And
we program people's brains.
Yes. And to understand Monday is a part of our life too, and can be very beautiful too, where people would dread Mondays. And there was one night, a friend came out I noticed that she was down, and you know how you can feel, you know, and pulled her to the side and was like, you know, what's going on? How you feeling? She's like, man, you know, my grandma just passed today, and she was sick for a long time. My friends didn't want me to be alone. They didn't want me to be inside. And so they brought me out. I feel kind of guilty being here though, because I shouldn't be dancing while my, you know, family's grieving, right? And I was like, man, you know, you're entitled to how you feel, truly, you know? And if you feel uncomfortable, I agree, you know, you definitely should. But tell me more about your grandma. And she's like, man, my grandma, you know, she loved music. She loved, you know, even when she was, you know, she couldn't walk, she still bop, you know, to certain songs. And, you know, I'm like, you know, maybe she wants you here. Maybe you're here for a reason, you know? By the end of the night, I'm like checking on her, you know, as I'm DJing, you know, hey, you good? Like, yeah, I'm good. And by the end of the night, I see her screaming songs with her friends, right?
That's therapy.
Oh, man, bro. Man. And at the end of the night, she comes up to me, she hugs me, you know, she might be a little tipsy maybe at that time, but she hugs me, you know, tears in her eyes, like, I needed that, man. Like, thank you, you know? And in that moment, the social scientist in me thought of this study around song therapy and how it's been proven to relieve grief, and how she was singing with a room full of people for 2 hours, and how she ended that night with a smile, joyful smile, you know?
And real, like, true joy.
Yes, bro. Yes. You know? Being able to wake up that next morning, hopefully, you know, celebrating her grandma. Because there's a difference between grief is, they say grief is enduring love. It's a form of love.
Absolutely.
You know?
You took an energy, that's alchemy work. Because the energy was there, and the energy was of grief, of pain, of loss, sorrow. And you transformed it. You allowed her to transform it. You create spaces for people to transform their energy. Whether it is they're furthering an energy that they're coming in with, or whether they're changing and recreating a different type of energy. So you are a social scientist, absolutely, brother.
That's all it is, bro. And disguising it as making it sound less crunchy. You know,
you gotta give the people what they want. You know? Sometimes you gotta make it look like they think.
If it's like, hey, you're coming to therapy, you're coming to dance therapy, guys.
Yeah, they might be.
Right.
But if they say, no, we come together, yeah, we getting it.
And so, full circle moment, we look around LA, those bottle service clubs don't really exist anymore.
No. Yeah.
And it's because we've created spaces that make those spaces obsolete in comparison. Absolutely. People stopped going to those spaces because they were to choose to be uncomfortable and socially segregated versus feeling like they're surrounded by family.
Word.
They chose up. We chose up. I chose up, right? Another full circle moment. I felt so alone when I moved here.
I said, you created what you needed.
Yes, bro. Yes. And now I have some of the most amazing human beings in my life.
Wonderful.
The people that enhance my quality of life. I couldn't imagine my life without my friends. It's the family I chose. I met them through the environments and it's not about me. It's not something that I created. I had the idea and our community created it together. We brought it to life together. It's not about me. It's really for real about us.
Because you create in a space that essentially the people will tell you whether it's working.
Yes.
They're going to show you whether it's actually
yes
beneficial.
And they have to tell me, right? I don't want to look at numbers. I don't want to look at how much money was made. I don't want to. Is it impactful? You know, did you meet somebody tonight? At the end of the night, I always say, if nobody told you that they love you today, I love you, and I mean it, right? Even that, bro. Hearing somebody really say, like, I mean it. I don't have to know you to love you.
Yeah, word.
You know? Man, that's how powerful love is. You know, there's something so poetic and beautiful about that. You know, love is energy. You know? It's not something that we, you know, can touch or feel, you know? Well, it's not something we can touch. It's something that we can feel.
Yeah.
Something we have to feel.
So where do you see, where would you like for it to go?
Yeah.
Like where do you,
yeah.
When you think about, and this is where I'm gonna go play a little devil's advocate. Mm-hmm. What are some of the aspects where you feel like it's not where you want it to be, or where you're actually trying to upgrade it or give even more, whether it be from yourself? And I think part of this is in relation to yourself, in relation to where you're trying to see yourself grow within these spaces, because you know, like anything, sometimes we outgrow particular spaces and we say, oh no, I've created this, but this no longer feeds me in that aspect, and you want it to live on.
Yes. Do
you see yourself always being involved in this capacity?
So yes and no. So I love the idea of being an advocate for social health, because even when we're 80, we'll need someone. You know, we'll need friendship. Friendship will be valuable until we pass.
You know, there's
forever.
No limit on that.
And so that's supposed to evolve as well. You know, as we mature, the ideas will mature, the spaces will mature. The idea was never really about me, or even necessarily about See You Soon. It was about how do we create a new standard for social health, and how do we create a trend that outgrows the thing, right? How do we make a trend actually healthy? You know, a TikTok dance might not be as healthy as a trend as creating a new standard for how we interact and engage. So to answer your question, the goal is to see the next generation and the next generation and the next generation be very intentional with spaces and with social health, and to evolve that through time, to take people off of their phones. The phones are very valuable, but life is still happening. You know, life still must happen, and us being inside, you know, we need that balance, but we got to be outside too. You know, we got to feel the sun on our faces. We got to hear our tribes singing with us. Mm-hmm. We need to be in a moment that feels like a choir, our choir, you know, our way. So I would love to see that evolve. This year we went on tour as an experiment, which I think we all have to experiment as a creative too, as an entrepreneur, getting out of our comfort zone, figuring out how can we push the boundaries of what we've done already, going into spaces like a Portland, where it's a predominantly white space, and doing something for people of color, with people of color. A dear friend of mine, David Hall, who's an owner in venues in Portland, you know, he's Black and Hispanic, and, you know, minority owned, you know, an amazing curator, this guy named Dante. Sounds by Dante. Shout out to David and Dante. They've created such a beautiful space, and then you go into a Portland, and you realize, damn, we need this.
Yeah.
You know, go to a Miami. So many people of color, but people haven't necessarily created the intentional spaces that we are. It's a different type of intention.
It's a different type, absolutely. How is that going into different? You think about, because you just named two wildly vast, different cultures, communities across the board. Yeah. And do you come with the idea of you're bringing the see you soon culture or to those spaces, or are you really paying attention? I would think that there would have to be conversations and serious conversations with the venues, with the owners around, well, tell me about you. You have to become closer and become familiar with that.
Absolutely.
So that you do the best job. It's like, especially with the intention that you're trying to create, it is important that you have conversation and have interaction and have an understanding of what you're stepping into.
Absolutely.
Because it's not about you.
No.
In what you're creating.
No, yeah. Yeah. And well, you know, fortunately, LA's a hub. And so most of these cities have heard of what See You Soon is. So they've asked me to come into this space.
Okay. Well, and that's good. You've created, that means you're doing something. You've created a space where the energy that you're putting out there, somebody 2,500, 3,000 miles away could say, no, we need this.
Bro, like we did our first we did our first thing in New York, and 500 people came, right? New York is one of the toughest cities to get people out in, right? Our first thing ever doing anything there.
Really only makes sense if somebody says, hey man, we want you.
Bro, you know, 500 people came out, you know, and we rocked it. It was amazing. That's where it's going, figuring out how to, even in a city like New York, it's all about intention. You know, you might go out to dance and turn up, and there's some amazing DJs and curators that are doing amazing things in New York. But some of the data and the intention, it might be different, you know? And I think that's what makes social things really dope. You know, one person throwing a dinner might feel different from another person throwing a dinner. One person's house party might feel very different from another person's house party. And how you feel walking out of those experiences are supposed to feel different. And I think, you know, understanding that us going into these cities hopefully is going to inspire them to say, oh yeah, let's actually, like, let's think about lighting.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's think about where the speakers position. Let's think about sound design and soundscape. Let's curate menus to have a mocktail section with health benefits. You know, can we put chlorophyll in drinks? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like so we can create an environment that is celebratory, and we're accessing all of these healthy things.
Do you see this potentially turning into a space where it is a day long or maybe a 2-day thing, where you actually are now having, outside of the gathering with the music, now there is a panel?
Oh, absolutely.
Now there's community conversations within that. Around what the community needs, what the community wants, health, the responsibilities within the community, how we see ourselves. So now you're actually taking, you know, you've gotten them together, you've gotten them to see commonality within each other, and now they can actually have these conversations to connect even more, to create a stronger community within something outside of just the movement. Because that's where my brain goes. It's like, listen, you get people long enough at a party, at some point in time, they're gonna start talking. And then that conversation goes into something else outside of like, well, what do you do? What are we into? Oh, wow, you know what? I wanted to build this. Oh, you're creating this? Well, how do you see this? Because then you start to talk about issues. You know, we all have relatabilities in our issues and our frustrations.
All have issues, traumas.
Do you see that? Do you see this at some point in time? Maybe, and I said, I don't want to say necessarily a festival, but it's something that is created over a full day or maybe a couple days where it's going to be a healthy gathering and we're going to do it all.
Yeah. So right now, so See You Soon is the umbrella, is the actual brand. Underneath that umbrella, we have a brand called Find Your Friends. And Find Your Friends started as a festival idea. We took over this parking lot in downtown LA, not too far from here, on Mission Road, and invited 2,000 people twice a month during the summer to come to this space. Built bars, had food trucks, built stage, built seating. The idea of Find Your Friends started as how do we create an experience from the moment you get the invite that helps you find your people in a very intentional way. And part of it was, can we create these touch points that are identifiers of taste and social preference and style and all these things that we could bring people into this moment to say, okay, all your friends are right here. Okay, all your friends are right here. Okay, all your friends are right here. With any idea, I try to create a case study around it. So for the last 2 years, Find Your Friends has been a case study. The festival, we're building it out this year with Live Nation, actually.
Sure.
And to be this just really crazy, intentional thing, seminars, panels, workshops, things that, and on subjects that are rare to talk about, things that are also not that rare. Financial literacy, thankfully, isn't a rare topic now.
Not anymore, yeah.
Investing isn't a rare topic now. But things like icebreakers. How do I approach somebody? How do I start? I feel insecure about this idea that I have. Who can we tap to give advice on overcoming, those insecurities that we all have, figuring out what voids that we can fill in really unique ways. Because luckily, there's so many beautiful panels. There's so many beautiful podcasts. And figuring out the void now is something that's really, really exciting. Every year, so right now I'm in ideation mode. Every year I pause and I go live somewhere else for the month of January.
Oh, that's
and alone. I don't take anybody. It's just me. I try to go somewhere that's like kind of rural. Try to rent a motorcycle, like go to the beach and eat stuff straight out the ocean.
That's funny. I won't say I live. I got kids, so I ain't living nowhere with my kids. But I do. I take a personal trip. Usually it's at least 2 weeks somewhere, and I go somewhere where I'm by myself and quiet. I can
need that.
Walk with myself.
Yeah.
Within that, it's beautiful because I do that as well. But where'd that come from? Because in everything that you're talking about, I'm not gonna front. Part of me is thinking, you gotta always be on.
Right.
So what are you doing to give yourself, and clearly this is part of it, but where'd that come from in relation to you understanding, I need to give myself X, Y, and Z to be able to continue to show up in these spaces to give the people what they want? Because essentially you created something, but you are the first, you're in the forefront to give and set the standard and set the stage for the energy that you want to create. And then, it's living on. So what made that come about?
I read this book called The Mountain Is You by Brianna West. and it's a book on unlearning self-sabotage. And a part of that book, a big part of it was the realization that self-sabotage is often attached to a trauma. And us gaining the tools to go back into our story, there are things that we've experienced that were traumatic, that were like small moments. When I was in 7th grade, I would get in trouble for drawing.
Yeah.
So I thought art was bad early.
Fuck.
So I became,
It's terrible. Damn.
So I became an athlete.
It's unfortunate. Yeah. Well, it's funny. That's actually my situation. I stopped all my art for sports.
Wow.
Because the world of sports is so, you got to focus on this, you got to focus on that. I didn't think that I could do both.
Same, bro. Same. But so that was a traumatic moment, and I had to go back into that 7-year-old's mind and say, man, it's okay.
Word.
I have the tools now to supersede that traumatic moment so we can be the artists and the creatives that we've always wanted to be. So that book gave me exercises or inspired exercises that I know I needed to be a way to really process. There's this exercise of self-visualization that asks you to imagine your highest self and in detail, like, what is he wearing? What did he do today? What is he driving? Where does he live? What kind of person is he? And sit down with that person, have a conversation with that person. And it took me so much time to visualize that person.
Yeah.
Bro. I realized that there were
Cobwebs.
Yes, bro. Cobwebs.
You got to work through a lot of the,
and ceilings too.
Yeah.
We're like, man, I can't do that. I'm not worthy of that. What is that even? What is my highest self? What does that even mean? What does that even look like? And went to Costa Rica while I was reading the book.
Costa Rica will do that too.
Bro, Puerto Viejo, the Caribbean side.
Word, okay.
And rented this big ass crib. Stayed there for the whole month and read the book and would visualize myself every day, my highest self every day. It took time, but I needed the stillness and the space to really commit to it. What ended up happening was the clearer that vision became, the more I became that person.
Of course.
And so I came back to LA after that trip, bro, and everything I saw, I became. Everything I saw, I experienced that whole year. End of the year, I was like, I'm doing this every single year now.
Sure.
I'm recommending to my friends, bro, if you can, sis, if you can, whatever that time is, step away so you can be with yourself. And man, it was that book, bro. Yo, if anybody's watching this, bro, whoever is watching this, because I'm sure everybody's watching this, but The Mountain Is You by Brianna West, life changer.
Brianna West is great.
Oh my goodness.
She's a great writer.
That book is crazy.
The Mountain Is You.
Life changer.
Right.
But that was the reason. And now I do that every year, that exercise every year. Right now I'm reading the 10X method.
Okay.
No, the 10X rule. I think it's the 10X rule. But every year I'm like, how can I evolve? And I think everybody does that, but to reserve the space and time to do it, we grow so much every year. How do you get to know yourself? There's so many times that, or there's so many people even that don't know how to communicate what they need or what they want because they don't know who they are yet. You know, sometimes we just need that space and time to understand that we're supposed to change. We're supposed to be different. We're supposed to learn ourselves. You know, our instruction manual is going to evolve every year, bro. You know?
Sometimes it looks like it's in a different language.
Yeah, bro. I mean, you know, what's that practice for you? Like, what?
Right now, it's very different.
And also, who are you now that you weren't last year?
That I wasn't last year? Fuck, dude. My entire life in the last year and a half has been turned upside down, of course, with my brother's death and everything. Yeah. Not just that, but a lot of different things, family dynamics across the board. And there's no greater reflection than pain to actually force and allow certain things to come about that have always been there. But I think now they a lot of times force you to create realizations. And I think I'm very thankful, number one, that I did what I did for so long and was able to create an understanding of practice, an understanding of how to do certain things, and an understanding of myself. I am now reconnecting with a different part of myself. Like you said, very much a childlike and more spirit as opposed to mind. I've developed my mind in a way that was very valuable, and it made sense. It gave me the tools to be able to do what I did and do it well. But now my spirit, I care more about honoring my spirit.
Man, there's a saying that's what got you here won't get you there.
Yeah. You know, and it's funny, I thought about something the other day. We all have whatever our superpower is and what our magic is. And, you know, too many times as kids we're told you're this, you're too loud, you know, you're too this. You're dramatic, or you're overly dramatic, or you're this, you need to be this. Oh, you're nosy. Now, these are all negative connotations to things that are actually really powerful. Nosy for a child is what? It's just curiosity.
Inquisitive.
Exactly. It's a curiosity that is you want a wonderment. You want people to wonder.
Oh my goodness, yes, bro.
And to wonder without even necessarily needing to know the answer, but to be curious and to ask questions, that is what you want. It helps develop your brain.
It's a sign of intelligence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So in these spaces where you can see that we have, because society, maybe it was a parent, maybe it was just the relationship in relation to trying to create safety, you know, it's not all done in a negative intention. Sometimes it is protection, you know. So within that, I think that now I'm tapping back into those spaces around what feels good and what feels right as opposed to doing good. And I've said, I almost say it on every episode, like, you know, with sports, as you know when you do good.
Right.
There's an input output.
Right.
You know if you perform good.
Right.
Nobody ran for 10 yards, fumbled 2 times, and they said you had a good game.
Right.
But with art, even though I think they're all art, it's art in motion, there's a very different. Because you could play every note correctly. You could make a beautiful painting. If it doesn't move anyone,
right. Right.
Doesn't necessarily, if it doesn't move you, it doesn't, if it, you know, it necessarily doesn't hold any sort of value. So I think that in how something feels is more of a priority for me right now. In how, because I know how to do good. I know how to be good at something. But I care more about, does it feel good? Can you feel me?
Right.
As opposed to, is it good?
Right. Right.
Because to me, this is the point. It is good if you can feel it at this point in time in my life. And I think it's because of all the feelings that I've had over the past year and a half. There's
It's shaped you.
It's
shaped
me.
me.
It's shaping and creating spaces where I can see underdevelopment, creating spaces where I can see overdevelopment, where I can see lack of control, where I can see solid control.
Yep.
So I look at it as an opportunity to redesign, recreate, and realign.
Yes, bro. I mean, evolution, bro. There's this, you know, I recently, I guess I have been dealing with some grief as well. I mean, honestly, quite a bit of grief too, you know? You know, and I think we all do. I think it's a part of the human experience, right?
It's part of our transformation.
Yes.
I actually believe that grief, pain, all those things, they're opportunities to transform our consciousness. And I don't necessarily always see it as ascend, because I think that is very linear in regards to a direction. Expand is something that I...
Wow.
Because you can expand in many different ways, many different directions. How we expand is where you see developments. And I like to say, like, it's attributes. I have this thing where I say, like, add to your attributes. Because how many times you're interested in something and you want to become familiar with it, so you change the proximity you have to it, whether you spend more time around it, you make sure that you're reading more on it, you're gaining more knowledge on it. You have no idea whether or not that might take you down a whole nother path and expand you in something else, where then you can take really a skill that you learned in something else to say, oh, nah, but I know how to actually, because I can apply that to here, and I learned that from this space. And we've now the graph has grown in this way, this way, as opposed to just one direction. And that's really where I'm at. So for me, it's a space of expansion. And I think that all these conversations, they just add to it.
It's exciting, bro.
Because they are reflections in relation to things that I'm like, yeah. You might say something, I'm like, yeah, fuck, I knew I should have. Or reinforce something that I'm doing. You might open a door to something that I didn't think of. So I'm very grateful. At the end of the day, I did this for the community. I'm doing this for the community, but you know, selfishly, I'm really doing this for myself. And I'm fortunate that I have a space of individuals that are willing to be honest and be vulnerable in these conversations to be able to help me grow and hopefully help everyone else grow.
Man, bro.
And hopefully they walk away and feel like they, you know, have grown within the conversation.
I mean, there's a surrendering too, right? That growth requires of us, and even to listen, you know? Yeah,
because definitely listening has not always been my strong suit in certain spaces. I was a different type of listener, and to consciously listen now in these spaces, because you have to be engaged. You know, as you can see, these conversations are not interviews, so I have to be engaged. I have to be listening to know where to go next. It's not just on to the next question. Some of it is, oh, well, I have to think about this in relation to how it makes me feel, what I feel like might be a transitionary question. So yeah, it's a learning process within that. I give everybody an opportunity to kind of speak to their wisdom. And I want to do that, Uri, for you in relation to what you're creating and what you've created and what you've seen. Where would you say that your wisdom lies?
Man,
I can speak to you for it. I can speak for you really quickly, but I won't do that. I won't do it just because I want the audience I want it to come naturally from you.
Man, the wisdom.
Yeah, take your time, because you have to. You have to be honest with who you feel like you bring. I'm asking you to big up yourself. Right. What you bring to the table when you know you walk in.
Man, you know, there's the ego. My mom says that it's useful, you know, if you know how to control it.
Absolutely.
But it's also so fragile. And
that's why it's so powerful.
You know, it's a balance. And, you know, when you're building anything impactful, with the idea of it impacting someone else. There are people that build things like, I just want to get rich.
Yeah.
It's about me, you know? If you're building something that's like, I went through this and I don't want anybody else to go through this. I at least want people that have the opportunity to not go through this. The wisdom I've gained through this whole experience, bro, is imagining myself right before I die, right? You know, doing something that guy is like, thank you so much for creating this thing. And I know it's not about all the things that I experience. I know it's gonna be about all the things that we've experienced together. I don't know why, you know, we talk about grief and how it triggers all these questions, man. You know, I lost my godfather, Vernal Taylor, who's a pillar in my life, all my life. And one of my dear friends, Aaron Spears, who's, you know, a legendary drummer. And for some reason, it's just those two people have been celebrated. There's been more celebration for their lives.
More joy, yeah.
Than grief about their death.
Which is a tricky thing to manage, because I've experienced the exact same thing in relation to, I had to be honest that the year my brother died, I experienced more love and joy than any other year. And it was around my brother's transition. So how the fuck is that? Like, how am I supposed to process that? The hardest thing that happened to me ended up bringing the most love. And to be able to, I think for me, it reinforces gratitude.
Absolutely.
How blessed I am and how fortunate I am to have loved ones, to be able to have people that could find that in themselves and allow that to be the space that they want to walk with, to help me reinforce my perspective on things. Everything that has occurred within my brother's death has reinforced my perspective even more, like you said, around visualizing and seeing. When you started this, the more you saw it, the more it actualized.
Absolutely.
And then within that, like you said, the ego around, okay, now what?
I mean, it's heartbreak.
Life,
right?
yeah.
It's heartbreaking. But the heart, when it breaks open, allowing space for more love to come in. A lot of the times it comes from our community, you know? It's wild, the juxtaposition or the yin and yang of that experience, because, wow, yeah, I'm experiencing so much love. I went through a heartbreak, it's like an ex-girlfriend, right? And I was like, yo, my first love. And, you know, I sat down with this 80-year-old woman. One of my dear friends was like,
you always get wisdom from them.
Oh my God. That's also why I think about being 80 one day and giving that man the gift of valuable experiences, you know? But her telling me, you know, when love leaves, it's you know, we think of that person being the vessel for our love, but without that person, where does the love have to go?
Yeah.
It goes to you. She's like, I want you to cook for yourself the way you would someone you're in love with. I want you to talk to yourself the way you would someone you're in love with. I want you to shop for yourself the way that you would for someone that you're in love with. And that subsequently created this glow up.
Word.
Which is what love does, self-love does, right? The glow up is just self-love, is you loving yourself, right? Because your heart broke, but it broke open.
Right.
And so the wisdom that I've learned is definitely, it's bigger than me. in all forms. The material, the different worlds happening simultaneously. The material world is happening. We're right here, you know?
Yeah.
There's a spiritual world happening too. There's an energetic world happening too. A vibe world that's happening too, you know? And being really intentional with the spiritual side. All the physical stuff, there's a party happening, or there's a dinner happening, or it's just people came over to the crib. Our energy, our spirits, it's experiencing the same
shit.
amount of joy.
Yeah.
It's just a different physical experience. And so, you know, understanding that, you know, life isn't, we won't be here forever. What do we do that's bigger than us while we are here? I think that's the biggest thing, bro. You know, and I think there's some alignment here with you know, losing someone that we love, you know, losing people that we love. We'll continue to lose people, you know.
And I want to be very clear, and I'm really, we talk about like using particular words, because words are spells.
Yeah.
I want to let go of the word lose.
Yes, bro.
Because
absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah,
yes,
we don't
absolutely.
actually. Yes,
so right.
maybe
so
in the
right.
physical.
Yep.
But I feel my brother sometimes against my own will.
Bro.
Pause. But like Netic is the loudest. He's even louder.
He's right here.
He's so loud.
Absolutely. Hand on your shoulder.
I want,
you know?
it's nerve in my on my nerves. So I think that if we, and all that is looking at myself and looking at the world in a different manner.
Yeah.
And I think we do that as humans to actually help through process, but understanding that energetically, I see him in everything. I feel him in everything. I can feel him in manners in which he's laughing at me. I can feel him in manners in which he's loud.
Yeah.
You just have to listen. And you have to pay attention. And yes, I can understand through our diets, through our lifestyles, we're not able to actually do that, but pay attention to those type of things. So I just want to, I'm not big on.
Well, you know, it reminds me of this fact about energy. You know, energy can't be destroyed.
Yeah.
It's always here.
It just changes in different
Literally.
ways.
And all we are is energy having a physical experience. After this physical experience will still be energy, right? There's this quote that I love that I recently heard, says that heaven is us living in the memories of the people that love us truly. That's where we go. You know, that's where we live. And in that way, just to circle back around to the wisdom piece, man, I want wherever I go after this journey, man, to be such a joyful place in the lives of the people that I hopefully have impacted or affected in a beautiful way, bro. That's the work I'm doing, man, you know. The selfish part of the work, right? I wanna live forever in the minds of my friends. I wanna live, you know, I want my friends to tell their kids, like, yo, we met because of this guy, this really happy guy, you know, you know. Yeah, bro. You know, there's just so much beauty in like the opportunity that we have to be here, bro. Even sitting here with you, man, I'm so thankful to be here with you. And you know, I mean, your whole family, bro, like such incredible human beings.
Thank you. I agree.
The whole gang. Oh, man,
I do. I actually do believe my family is incredible. And I'm thankful and blessed to be a part of it. We have a final question.
Yeah.
Last question. All right, we've gone through this whole thing. You give us the whole rundown, and you've kind of answered all of this, but this is the put you on the spot question.
Yeah.
Who are you, y'all?
Damn. I have two answers. I'm for sure. So when I was young, I used to be called weird a lot, right? As a kid, it was because I marched to the beat of my own drum.
Word.
I came home one day sad because kids were calling me weird because I wasn't listening to rap music. I was listening to stuff from the 70s when I was a kid. I wasn't listening to Tupac and Biggie. I was listening to Al Green, you know?
Word.
And kids call me weird. I come home, my mom is like, man, Mom, people keep calling me weird. My mom was like, baby, you're not weird. You're rare. And so I went on to look at the definition of weird. The definition of weird is suggesting, well, there are three definitions. One is suggesting that something is supernatural or uncanny, right?
I fuck with that one. Absolutely.
Crazy, right? Supernatural, uncanny, Superman is that is supernatural, that guy floating over there, right? Yeah. The second definition is a person's destiny. Okay.
Oh, really?
Right? Walk with me. The third definition is to induce a sense of alienation or disbelief in someone. Right?
Yeah, that's the negative.
So to answer your question, the first part, I'm weird. That's who I am, right? I'm a weirdo in that way, right?
I'm with it.
When someone calls you weird, to induce a sense of alienation, disbelief in someone, they feel alienated because they're in disbelief.
Because they can't connect.
Well, because you're supernatural and uncanny, they can't believe it, which is your destiny.
Absolutely.
Your destiny is to be supernatural and uncanny, right? I hope everyone gets to be weird.
Weird, yeah, in their own way.
Absolutely.
Stay weird, fuckers.
Stay fucking weird, bro. Come on, there's only one you. That's
why we came down here.
Absolutely. So that's for sure. I'm that person. And I'm just a friend, bro. That's all I want to be, A friend to my mom, a friend to my sister, a friend to my friends, a friend to you, a friend to Nelly, I just want to, I'm just a friend. There's this friendship in everything that I do. When I design something, I care about how it's going to make somebody feel. The same way that you would choose a birthday card for your friend, right? Yeah. I care about how they're going to feel when I open that thing up, There's a level of intention that I carry with me in everything that I do.
I can hear it. I can hear it and feel it.
Man, thank you, bro. Thank you. That means everything.
No, thank you.
Because it's about what we feel.
There we go. Yeah.
Energy don't lie. Vibes don't lie, bro.
Word. All right. So, how do the people get in contact with you? Let everybody know.
Man.
You can talk straight to the.
Well, you can find me. I guess on the gram, Uri Hall, EARRYHALL.
It's Uri.
Yep.
Stop calling him Erie. Stop calling him all these other shit. It's Uri. Pay attention.
Uri.
God damn.
It's Uri, man. People hear what they want to hear sometimes. And also, if anyone needs to feel community, if anyone wants to be surrounded by love and dance and sing their hearts out, surrounded by love.
Pull up.
At seeyousoon.us, at seeyousoon.us, because the US is tripping right now.
Word. Pull up though.
Yeah, pull up. Yes.
Thank you, brother.
No, brother, thank you so much.
I wasn't feeling the best this morning, but you actually you made me feel better. So clearly, what you know what to do.
Bro.
What you do is
energy is honesty, bro.
I appreciate that.
I feel the same way. The smile on my face is because of you, my brother. For real.
Thank you for this,
man. Same,
and hopefully the audience will appreciate this. I know they will. Welcome to Prophets in Process. Respect.